Yesterday, when talking with a friend, we mentioned aerial refueling. He said it was not difficult, two planes flying parallel connecting the hose. And it was done. These bold words immediately surprised me. Military knowledge is truly a vast field that needs to be popularized today. Somehow must clarify reputation. This industry puts lives on the line. This E3 is taking on fuel and looks very stable as it comes from the approach and successful connection with the KC-135's refueling boom, but at that moment a sudden air current appeared, causing the refueling plane to begin descending, causing the refueling boom to be compressed to its maximum by the hydraulic system. But the story did not stop there. KC-135 seemed to be heading straight towards the head of E3. Fortunately, E3 reacted in time to make a sudden dive to stabilize the situation and avoid a dangerous collision between the two planes. Big planes get a scare from these dramatic images. As you can see, aerial refueling is really a risky mission every time it is performed, putting one's life on the scale. The inventor of this method is certainly not a normal person, but a madman. In fact, in 1923, the U.S. Army Air Force performed the first aerial refueling in human history using two DHCB aircraft. However, at that time, all operations were completely manual. The DHCB in front released a flexible hose more than 10 meters long, while the pilot of the aircraft receiving fuel had to climb out of the cockpit and manually catch the hovering fuel hose to refuel manually. However, at that time, the aircraft could not fly too far, and the refueling method was completely manual. This fuel, in addition to looking very impressive, is actually not very effective. Air refueling at that time was mainly for show and lacked practical application. Initially, it did not have much use value. But with the constant development of fighter technology, the requirements for the flight range of aircraft became increasingly high. So air refueling technology was once again put forward for research. In 1930, the British invented a counterweight flexible refueling hose that operated based on the guidance of two connecting cables between the refueling aircraft and the refueling aircraft. However, the connection between the refueling hose and the receiving head has always been a technical challenge that needs to be constantly researched and solved by engineers. Major Richard of the Royal Air Force was the first to add a conical notches on the end of the hose, become the standard for flexible